All right. Design, design, design. Let's keep at it. So, what should we work on next? Let's work on let's work on maybe doing like fighting and dying. Let's work on that. Okay, so fighting and dying. Where's my health system? Here we go. Okay. So in this game, fighting and dying holds all the weapon and armor shit and dying. There it is. Okay. So fighting and dying. This game contains violent themes. The courts don't clash in war, but it's a world where death is present and the characters will be called upon to do battle and murder. It's a thing. It's part of the game. So we need rules to cover it. So to cover this stuff, we need, yeah, we need to like, this is the main thing here. And I guess let's talk about what happens when you die. Dying. So you've decided to die. Okay. So when you run out of harm slots, however many we figure out that we want, so there's no like battle, there's no battle moves. There's no structured combat. There's just, you draw weapons and you just like fucking beat the shit out of each other and you make moves as is appropriate. When fictionally it is appropriate for you to get hurt, maybe your armor absorbs some of your hurt, but you get fucked up and when you die, you die. So when you reach the end of your life, usually by nasty violent means, what do? You have your soul gives up your body and returns to the cycle of reincarnation, unless it doesn't, but that's bad. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, when you die, you just die. Like, you don't get to play your character anymore. You're dead. I don't know if we need any more than that. Like, I kind of don't care if you're, like, attached to your character. What we're saying about death is that it happens, and you as a player do not have any control over it once it has happened. The way you avoid this is by not getting into this situation. Put on some fucking armor. Don't get killed. Like, just get... You're dead. You died. Someone stuck a sharp thing into you a bunch of times, or you fell off a cliff, or whatever. Maybe just when you reach the end of your life, you're dead. Like, maybe that's it. So your soul leaves your body and returns to the wheel to be measured, judged, and reseated in a newborn body. Maybe human or something better if you shed your karma. You know, like, I don't care about this. Like, this is the thing. The game doesn't care about your karma. The goal of the game is not to shed your karma. This isn't like, yeah, no, I don't care, because you're not playing the same character. You were dead. Character's gone. If your companions are particularly resourceful, lucky and quick, or they've made the wrong sort of friends, maybe you can get your soul back into a new body Basically, the idea here is that reincarnation or resurrected is like bad. It's nasty, but you could do it. Maybe you can get yourself back into a new body. Or your original, if it's not in too bad condition. So let's talk about what happens. Maybe that's more important. No, you don't. So you don't reincarnate as, like, I don't want. Yeah, we got to try to mimic what happens in the game, but I don't want it to be about the character choosing this. You lose agency when you die. You are returned to the wheel, or someone who is like the wrong sort of friend. I'm talking about, right? Hazan, the Mara, whoever, a powerful wizard, whoever might be able to cheat the system for you, right? So here's the thing. If you, okay, like, so we're out there and we're doing an adventure and I take a fucking knife to the throat, or some peasant poisons me because they don't like me and I die. One of the other characters could be like, Jesus Christ, please, Mara, please. I beg of you, O dark gods of the universe, gather up his soul before it leaves his body and jam it back in there. We will do anything, right? Like, this is absolutely a thing, but it's bad. It's bad culturally. It's against the wheel, but maybe you don't care. Maybe the Mara have undying servants for this exact reason, right? This is the fucking lightning lord. This is Beric Dondarrion, and in our world, you know, the Lord Azor Ahai, or whatever, he is a Mara, right? And the Red Priestess and old fire guy, they're both Mara worshippers, because they can just keep bringing him back. The Necromancer Lord, you stab him in the eye and he's like, I don't care. What do I need this, like, pathetic body to live? No, I am trapped in this body. My soul cannot leave. And the Mara have empowered me to regenerate. So I don't know, like, there is always a price to pay. But hopefully someone else will pay it for you. Otherwise, better luck next life. And that's it. There's no cheating. There's no cheating death. There's no mechanical shit. There's no whatever. Yeah, Ramus is a special case because his soul got intercepted by Hazan at some point, or Hazan bribed the guardian of the library, the soul library, to just, like, take down Ramus's jar. And, like, oops, I dropped it and it rolled under a desk somewhere. Oh, well, never mind. So as long as Ramus is not being reincarnated, I think, and don't tell my players this, I think that there's room for him to just keep coming back and getting more and more fucked up and more hollowed out. And pretty soon, like, people are going to faint on looking at him. He's becoming like a haggard wreck. And eventually the other gods will look at Ramus and be like, oh, hold on. Right? Like, I have a little GM notebook thing going on where I'm keeping track of how much Ramus is doing and how obvious he is. But he's a hole. He's a hole in reality. He shouldn't exist. And eventually someone will notice. A paladin will come hunting for Ramus and be like, shh, come here, you, and smite the fuck out of him. Like, eventually he will become undead. He will be, he'll have the, like, light sensitivity. Dan doesn't know this yet, but Ramus is slowly becoming an undead. Yeah, like in Dark Souls. Exactly. Yeah. So that's a thing. Let's see. They say there are those who walk the earth bereft of soul, but somehow remembering a life they think belongs to them. Woe betide you if you ever become such a foul thing. There you go. Yeah. Vampires are this too. But what's funny, so here's my thought about vampires. There is a zero-sum situation with vampires where, like, anything that eats souls consumes that soul and takes it into them. There are... I don't want to get into the soul cosmology of the Hun and the Poe and stuff too much, but basically, like, vampires get separated. Their soul gets broken in half. They remain the Hun, and their Poe, the lower soul, like, lurks around and, like, hangs out and tells them to do bad things. Axillary power. I hope you weren't listening to your Poe when you resubscribed. Thank you for that Prime sub, my friend. So here's the thing: is that your Hun and your Poe should be together. Like, that's like the yin and the yang, right? That symbol, cheesy as it has become, is a metaphor for the soul, right? Balancing the upper and lower, the hot and cold, in philosophy. So the idea is that you've got the soul made of these two things. A vampire is cracked. They get broken in half, and their Hun and their Poe get separated, and they hang out, and they walk the earth, and they get the ability to kill other people and either consume their soul to empower themselves by feeding on their chi enough until they die, or break them themselves and create new vampires, right? Now, when a vampire kills someone by absorbing all of their chi and chooses not to shatter their karma, instead consuming it, they take the power of their soul into themselves and suborn it into their blood. They mush it up and it becomes part of them. If you kill a vampire who has done a bunch of that, and you do it right, you return not only their soul, but all of the souls they have ever consumed back to the cycle. You free them. So vampires are just like walking soul prisons. Ramus is worse than a vampire because Ramus's soul should be reincarnated, but is like swept under a rug somewhere. And he's just walking around. He thinks that he's still Ramus, but Ramus is in a jar on a shelf waiting to be reincarnated as a toad or something. He's cheating. Ramus is cheating, and it's because a powerful servant of the tower bribed or intimidated the god who was responsible for putting Ramus back into the cycle of reincarnation. So there's some bureaucratic fuckery going on here. Yeah, Nabros asks, could Ramus ever be reincarnated while Ramus Zombie is still around? Yeah, imagine what would happen. So Ramus is just a guy who thinks he's Ramus. He's not actually, the real Ramus is somewhere else. But what's interesting is, what if someone finds that jar? What if a new god finds that jar on his first day of work as the god of the library, and is like, oh, well, look at this. This thing should have been reincarnated a long time ago. And then boop, 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 pours it back into the cycle. A frog gets reincarnated with Ramus's soul. And then eventually, maybe over several generations, purifies himself and is the best toad he can be. Then he's the best skunk he can be. Then he's the best, I don't know, rhesus monkey he can be. And eventually he becomes a man again and is born in a man's body. And this human, they grow up and they're like, cool. And they bump into Ramus. The person who owns Ramus's soul is Ramus, but doesn't have access to Ramus's memories or thoughts or feelings. Only the good parts of what Ramus carried in life that wasn't karma worn away. Ramus, the one we know, has no soul and is nothing but thought and memory. He is the imprint. He's like when you fall asleep on your pillow and you wake up in the morning. Ramus is the lines in your face. He's not your face. He's an imprint. Yeah. So, like, he shouldn't exist, basically. What's weird, though, is that he's still a vessel that a soul could be put into. So, theoretically, the gods, if they were feeling cruel and fucked up, they could be like, let's just take this person, and to punish this soul, this bad, bad soul, to punish them, let's dump that soul into Ramus. Also, someone could steal a jar. This is a physical place you could go. Steal a jar, pour it into the empty Ramus, right? So that's it. That's the Ramus situation. That's the cosmology of reincarnation and the very human, very fucked up loophole. Yes, and Sithmaster has a good point. If the Mara ever found out that Ramus was this empty, human-seeming vessel, they could probably fill him with something very terrible and sneak their way into heaven. If the Mara ever got into heaven, fuck, it would be the worst. It would be very bad. And yes, Ramus could very easily be that kind of thing. It could be a vessel for that. So there you go. That's what I care about when it comes down to dying, right? When a character dies in this game, unless there is some kind of material shit that isn't just plain old magic, they need the help of the Mara or the help of heaven itself. No mortal can affect a human soul. Maybe if they're fast, they can snatch it out of the air, trick it into going back into the body, and fix the body and be like, oh, you know what? You never actually died. You're okay. You just thought you were dead. So yeah. And that's that. Okay. All right. So that's dying in Court of Swords. Elves don't have souls, I don't think. Yeah, elves don't have souls. I think that that's why they're invisible to both the Mara and heaven. They're from elsewhere. They're from another place, and we don't we don't fully understand their, like, if they die, maybe they can't die, right? Like, maybe that's not how they work. Maybe when their bodies suffer wounds, they just regenerate. Like, maybe elves can't be killed. We don't know. Maybe they dissipate and reform elsewhere. Maybe that's what the prisons are for. Maybe that crystalline prison is the only way you can stop an elf who's done very bad things. Maybe you can exile them from reality, but they can't physically be killed. Maybe they have no soul because that's not how their cosmology works. Boop. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about other fighting and dying things. Taking harm. When you suffering wounds. Let's call it wounds. I don't like harm. Oh, that's gonna be, there we go. When you suffer an injury, the GM will tell you how many wounds are inflicted. Check off that many boxes on your sheet. This will describe your current condition. That's it. Like, that's pretty much it. For weapons and armor, weapons inflict a number of levels of harm, like 1, 2, or 3. They have tags that give you fictional positioning, and they do damage. And then armor is ablative. So plate armor might take off 3, right? I guess that's here. If you're wearing armor, choose how much of the damage, how many wounds your armor absorbs. So basically your armor is just like a thing that takes hits for you. Wounds can come from many different sources. The world is a dangerous place. No, part of so when you take a wound is just when when the GM makes a move. The GM will have a move that says So inflict harm, basically, like. So GM move, inflict a wound. I could also, I guess, theoretically make armor, and this is what playtesting is for. I could make armor a move, right? So when you take a hit, yeah, so armor has a blade of levels of damage reduction, and so it's like a number of things, right? Like we would do it like this. For example, in fine condition, slightly damaged, a ruined mess. And when it's full, you can't, right? Ruined. So check this out. This is how we make rust monsters. When we make a rust monster, which you know I'm gonna, we do something like rust monster, biting mandibles. 1 wound. They have carapace armor, and we can call this one like permanent, or like, because I want to do armor that doesn't just like go away, basically. But we can figure that out. So carapace armor, 1 level, right, like that, or 2 levels or something. And then they have some levels like a splattered mess. Missing a limb or 2. And then like we're fine. It's basically like a hardy creature. And then once are to consume metal, and then special causes 3 times normal wounds, but only to metal armor. And then another special is like can destroy any mundane metal object. And these are things that you like. What makes them special? These tend to be both narrative and GM moves, like Dungeon World. So the idea here is, say you attack a rust monster, and you roll and you get a miss. I can be like, cool. It climbs up on you and you take 3 wounds. And they're like, what? I have armor. And I'm like, oh yeah, no. Your armor takes 3 wounds and just crumbles off of you, right? Or like 2 times or something. This is math I'm not interested in doing right now. But this is kind of how that works. Or I could make a move if you miss. I can say, cool, you lunge at it, and it grabs onto your sword and immediately bites a hole in the middle of it, and then your sword falls apart. Right? Let's call that non-magical. Anyway, so that's how that kind of thing would work. Cool. So that's my thought on like how harm works. I guess we need to talk about recovering from wounds, right? Like recovery. So let's talk about that. Recovery. When you are wounded, you may wish to become whole again. So like, I don't know, this can be accomplished with rest and care, or with magic. Magical effects will describe how many wounds to recover. So the idea here is like someone can just cast a spell, or you can drink a potion or whatever, and it'll just be like, move yourself back up 2. So you're like, I'm staggered, slowed, weakening. But now my wounds are only beginning to show, right? whatever. If you are resting a single night's recovery is a level of wound. A single night of, hold on, this is awkward. A long rest. Fuck off, Dungeons and Dragons. A night's rest allows recovery of a single wound level. Yeah, body might affect that. A whole day of rest will allow you to recover 1 plus body if your body is a positive number. A week of rest sets you back to hale and hearty, right? Like, so this means that anybody will recover from everything they need in a week, even if they are, no, but then the thing is, you can't recover. Okay, hold on. I want to talk about, get out of here. I want to talk about what happens if, I want these to be descriptive, right? So like, they're still true. And if you're at, I have a moment left to live, you can't recover, right? Like, so I'll have to indicate a level from which you cannot recover. So let's put a star next to these ones, and we'll call them, you cannot, if you have been wounded, and I don't know how I'm going to like put this on the character sheet, but basically it's like, if you have been wounded, and then I'll put a little mark here, past however we mark it on the sheet, you cannot recover with rest. Death will claim you too quickly. Magic is your only hope. So basically, once you're here, you're dead unless someone can like heal you. If you get worse, you have but a moment left to live, and then you die. Let me see. I want there to be something about how it gets worse too. Once you, let's see. You cannot recover with rest. You will. I want to do something about like you're bleeding out past that point. And I'll reword these and figure these out, you know, based on what I need. But yeah, it's totally just a standard harm clock. It completely is. Yeah, it's just descriptive lines instead of a number. I just wanted to throw out the numbers. I like it as describing yourself. So yeah, I think it will get worse. Yeah. Yeah, magic is super powerful. Definitely. What is the downside of playing a spellcaster? Just bigger stakes. Like your fuck ups. Like if I'm a dude with a knife, I can only cause so much chaos in the world. I can only screw up so bad. If I'm a magician and I fuck up, my fuck ups are way bigger scale. Anyway, if you've been wounded, you can't recover with rest. If you, magic is your only hope, you will get worse quickly and die without aid. Okay. So that's the thing. Yeah, dude with a knife who rolls a 2 doesn't actually accidentally blow up a city or summon the Mara or whatever. And that's that's why the GM has rules, right? The GM will be like, make their failures accordant with their roles. Make, like, you know what I mean? Like we'll figure out how to instruct the GM to do these things. Cool. Okay. I think that's fine for fighting and dying for now. So let's clear that. Blip, blip, blip. Look at all this character creation shit. Let's clear that out of there and let's work on equipment. Because equipment is pretty fucking straightforward. So equipment. Oh, we should talk about At Your Mercy. In fighting and dying, maybe. It might go somewhere else, but let's chuck it in here for now. At Your Mercy. There are occasions where one person or someone might be at the mercy. Might be at your mercy. This means they're helpless, defenseless, and they're helpless, defenseless, and like and have no further recourse. You may now, okay, what do we say with at your mercy? You may use any move, basically any move that requires they be at your mercy. Yeah, kill outright. Okay. You may use any move that requires this tag. So it's a narrative and a tag to say, like, I am at your mercy. This can be... So this tag can be applied as a result of a roll or just from fictional positioning. Okay, we'll see. I may end up not needing this as a tag, but maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. There were a couple of places where I just phrased something that way, and maybe it belongs that way. Okay, so let's talk about inventory. So each... Yeah, the idea that rituals need you to be at someone's mercy, or yeah, you're at the spirit's mercy, or whatever, right? You could say, like, if you're a conjurer, you could say, I call forth a spirit and I am at their mercy, which is like kind of a big deal. That's worth a lot. Okay. So my idea here was to kind of rip off the Blades style of equipment, where there's like a preset of things. There's like a set of like load that someone can carry around with them. Yeah, like items you might have. So let's talk about general stuff. Okay, so inventory. A general inventory for adventure types. So I want to do like adventuring gear, right? So like let's say you can carry on like a weapon, a simple weapon, a piece of armor. Like, I mean, the thing here is that it needs, the only place we've done that shit is you may wield any weapon or wear any armor without undue discomfort or difficulty, right? So if you're a warrior, so maybe you just have a simple weapon. And then some other like generic bullshit. Like, what would these characters, I guess this speaks to what the characters do. And this is like adventurer shit that anyone might have. So like John in Blades, the Blades characters have fairly specific stuff. It's a bunch of different kinds of weapons, pistols, additional pistols. So like, and the idea here is you can only pick a certain amount when you start an adventure. So like, specialist clothing. So this might be like, Noble goods, like finery, a disguise, something to fit in, etc. Okay. A simple weapon, like 1 wound. I'll just call it a 1 wound weapon. Yeah, petty cash, something like that. Yeah. A pouch of coins. I hate that it's auto fucking no. There you go. What other things do adventurers have? A source of light. Some food. I don't want this to be like exhaustive. I sort of like miscellaneous adventurer shit. I guess we could just do like three boxes, right? Like here, hold on. I'm doing this wrong because I want to be able to like layer these. So I got to grab, sorry, I'm grabbing the Unicode for a checkbox instead. Doop. Boop. Okay, so like, and this is almost like more torchbearer-y, like how many slots does it take up? And this is something about how big you are, like your body too. So let's see, you can choose a number of items to carry into an adventure. The GM will tell you when. Equal to your body, minimum 1. You may choose more. Doing so means you are, what did I call it? Like encumbered, basically. Encumbered. What does this mean? Well, encumbered. The GM may demand someone make a roll. Demand a roll to avoid or may demand like a complication as a result before or part of any other move. Right, so this is like you have to defy danger basically if you're overburdened. Yeah, overburdened is better. I wish it did not delete my note. That's annoying. Copy that note. Okay. So this is just like another tag that I would have to. Okay. All right. So what I wanted to do here was like, some miscellaneous adventuring gear. Like the idea here is like adventuring gear in that you can just call forth. It takes up 3 slots, but it's 3 things that you can just use. Okay. And then like you always have here, I got to get my Unicode checkbox here again. So these are ones that you always get. In addition to the checked box. There you go. So the idea here would be that everyone gets an item reflecting your kin or culture. And then you can also have an item that a tool for practicing your craft. Okay, something like that. No, specialist clothing, you wouldn't just come with adventuring gear. Adventuring gear is just like bullshit. Like pythons and whatever. Okay, is there anything else that would like just generically be an adventurer? Yeah, a length of rope. No, I don't want the tool to be a checkbox. No. But see, if it's not on the list, so what I'm hoping people are smart enough to realize is that it can't be adventuring gear if it's on the list. I think rope is actually like silly enough to be part of adventuring gear. Yeah. Okay. And then I definitely want to do something about like carrying treasure and coins. So, because what I want to do is on the sheet. Let's fill that out. On the sheet, there will be treasure slots, coin slots, basically, that reflect carrying capacity. So it's halfway between torchbearer and blades, I think. Carrying capacity for treasure. You can slot treasure into them, but once you're past your limit, once they're full, you're overburdened. Something like that. Yeah. I don't know. This may be like equal to your body minimum 1. Like if you're a weakling, you can't really carry stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's figure out what other shit people get. So if you are a warrior, if a warrior, you get a weapon of any harm, of any wound, like any weapon, I guess. And then any armor, a shield. Let's call it any armor 2. Yeah, I'm gonna need to figure out capacity. I need to work this out. This isn't gonna work. Carry into an adventurer. And this is maybe where we do the load thing. So I'll slot this. I'll figure this out. Create playtest appropriate carriage rules. Like how much shit you want to carry around. Okay. Any weapon, any armor is two slots. What else would warriors have? What other tough boy stuff would they have? A trophy of a previous victory. That's kind of cool. Magicians and rogues. Magicians have... I honestly don't care that much about inventory. Like arcane implements. Cards. Astrolabes, etc. Yeah, I guess I could do like a 1-wound weapon. Or like... So some weapons, any other weapon. So you could have both. Something like that. Okay. All right, arcane implements. What else? We said mystical accoutrement. Like your shit, basically. So magicians would be like robes. Magicians, yeah, like how are you? It's your priest robes or whatever. No, so we put the cards. Mysticism is part of everybody. Scholars, sorcerers, priests, and shamans all get it. Accoutrement is an elf word. That's right. Okay, so like scrolls, books, etc. So printed material, and that shit's heavy. Alchemical unguents and poultices. No, so the thing about the tarot is that you wouldn't just carry around a deck. You would carry around like a deck and a cloth to lay it on, and the deck would be in a special box. Yeah, I think it's all your arcane implements take up one slot. I wonder what else. I think maybe like what do these guys need? Oh, I know. They could carry on a musical instrument because music is often part of that thing. Or in addition, they can add a. They could add a. This is about their robes, their accoutrement. I need another word for this. What could we call like robes? Like your scholarly or priestly or whatever, your academic, your magician shit. Regalia. Nice, Aquilane. That's great. Magician's regalia. Fucking awesome. That's perfect. Raiment is also good. Vestments is also good. Y'all, I'm gonna... Vestments. I'm gonna make it like a list here. Regalia, vestments, or raiment. Everybody loves raiment. Okay, so what do we say for rogues? Let's see, a 1-wound weapon. Another 1-wound weapon. An easily concealed murder tool. So like a garrote or whatever. Poison? No, there aren't only 1-wound weapons. But only warriors can wield better than 1-wound weapons. Remember, rogues are not combat characters. They don't fight. They murder. Yeah, armor. But they can't wear, they don't have armament, right? Again, these are not D&D rogues. These are murderers. What do we say about rogues? They're liars and murderers. Liars and murderers. So they're not like, oh, I'm going to flank you and do flanking damage. So let's see here. False papers. Something about like false papers. Yeah, like a fake identity, travel papers, something like that. And then a hidden supply of cash, something like that. Yeah, forged documents, false papers. The idea here is that you can pretend to be someone you're not. And especially in the Court of Swords, we haven't really seen this because the game hasn't been about like travel. The game hasn't really been about travel. They've been, it's been about like being in one place mostly. But if you try to go from one province to another, you need papers. Papers are like a serious, important thing. The courts don't go to war, but they do have like sanctions against one another, and they require very careful taxation of these things. Yeah. Okay, cool. Liars and murderers. If the players... if you, because this is all addressed to the players, if you want something not on the list specifically, it either falls under adventuring gear or is probably a 1-slot item. Talk to the group and figure it out. Figure out whether it makes sense. Like, ultimately, on the character sheet, I'm just going to leave boxes and lines for people to just fill in. Like, oh, I need something that isn't on here. I'm going to take it. The idea is just managing how much shit you can carry around. So when you go on an adventure, you decide how much you can carry, and it's based on something. And I don't know what that is. But everyone has an item reflecting their kin or culture. They might have some other stuff. And you pick this like per adventure or whatever. Cool. At least we're fucking killing it. We're killing it today. We're making up shit. Okay. No, I don't need or want to worry about ranged or whatever. That's all tags. So I'll need to create. Let's talk about like some weapons, because again, this is all like sort of busy work, but like some weapon examples. Let me look up. Can you get a horse? Yes, you can get a horse. It's not an inventory item. So like a knife, a sword, mace or club, a crossbow, a bow. Like, it's all just this like D&D equipment horse shit, but really like a knife is just one wound, close, murder. Ooh, murder is a tag. No, you can murder anybody with anything. A sword, murder is special. A sword is like 2 wound, medium. Like, I think close, medium, and far. Or close, medium, and ranged is all the distinction I want. This could be like a 2 wound, heavy, medium. Crossbow is like probably 2 wound. I need some more 1 wound weapons, because apparently I've yeah. All right. Well, a mace. Let's do like a club. 1 wound, stunning, close. Something like that. 2 wound, reload, ranged. Yeah, darts. Shuriken. Fuck, I need a non-Japanese word for throwing stars. Throwing stars, right? Like throwing stars or darts. 1 wound, limited, ranged. Yeah, chakram, sling. We could do this for fucking days. So Keeters, what is my answer to the question of what is this game about? I don't know yet. It might just be a better way to tell like weird murdery adventure stories. It feels a bit like a grittier sword and sandals kind of like D&D. But I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. A bow, probably 2 wound. I mean, a bow could be the same as, no. 2 wound, reload, ranged. But it's the same. Fuck. Just 2 wound ranged, or like 1 wound ranged. Like a short bow, because there's no fucking English ass longbows in this thing. Etc. I don't really want to sit here and like hack out all this crap. Some armor examples. I mean, light, heavy, and or light, medium, and heavy, right? So like light is leather, medium is lamellar, heavy is like not plate, but plate, whatever the plate equivalent. And so light would be like 1 hit, medium is 2 hits, and heavy is 3. Pretty much. Like, we'll figure it out. I would dig through like actual weapon and here. All I have to do is go beep, 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 beep. Find some actual weapons and armor. Okay. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, spears, all that horse shit. We'll figure it out. Yeah, improvised. Totally. Yeah, that would be a thing. So like, but the problem is if you're, I mean, an improvised weapon you wouldn't buy, but improvised weapon, a wall, a broken bottle, a small horse. I don't know. I would say 1 wound, awkward. Range varies. Okay. Yeah, I don't need to make an equipment list right now. That'll go on the eventually done list, but it's not, I don't need to do it right now. Let's figure out advancement and awards. So far, what do we award the players for? And then we can figure out how the characters advance. If, like, I wonder if can I make a game? I want a carrot. I want to reward you for stuff. Maybe all you do is, I have a thought. I have a thought about fate. Okay, maybe there is no advancement. Maybe you do not advance. Oh my God. Okay, I'm having a brainstorm. Let me start writing some of this shit down. Add advancement. So advancement and XP. So maybe there is no advancement. Only control of your destiny. Maybe you can spend the XP you gain on rerolls or to buy a temporary 7 to 9 or a boost, temporary 7 to 9 or whatever. So like 5 XP to reroll, 10 XP to bump a miss to a 7 to 9 or a 7 to 9. It's just control over your destiny to a 10. Maybe there's no, you don't actually advance. You just tell the stories of these characters as they are. Yeah. Yeah, fuck advancement. Your character is just as good as they are at shit forever. How do you get control of your destiny? By playing in to the things you have no control over. Oh, that's so good. You'll just cycle. Oh, fuck, that's good. I like it. Fucking yeah. No, so I think we'll talk about, so instead of advancement, right? Instead of advancement, there is a change instead of advancement, right? So like at the end of an arc, you have the opportunity. Now, but you know what? You're stuck in some stuff, right? Like, I like the idea of your character is simply fated to this life. These stories are not meant to be, yes, that's right. K2's got it. You're not meant to play these characters for a long time. You're meant to play them to see what this life is like, and they are meant to die and rejoin the karmic cycle, or you get done with them, right? It's definitely intended to be, like, I would say like 6 sessions, maybe like one story about these characters. And maybe you like the character, you want to carry them into the next thing. Okay. Yeah. I like this. I like the idea that your characters don't advance. Now I think maybe there's some kind of like, when you die, you talk about the character's karma and stuff. There's like an end of campaign move.
To the math squad.
Makura Wukong, welcome to the squad. Thank you. There's an end of campaign move where like you reflect on the life of your character and make some decisions about what happens to them, reincarnation, etc. We'll figure this out later. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you spend your XP. There should definitely be some kind of like banked XP. You can forego using your XP and bank it for your character's epilogue. Oh my God. Okay, and then maybe like spend XP from your bank to tell a better story about your character. Oh Oh my god, it's just like Fiasco. It's like the end of Fiasco. Steal from Fiasco for this. So you spend XP for the aftermath in Fiasco. Exactly. Fucking awesome. This is so weird. And it might be totally stupid in play, but I kind of like it. Panris, thank you for the Prime sub. Cool. Awesome. What do we call this instead of XP? I don't like karma because I think that it already means something in the game. So like marking XP, I'm going to just tell myself I don't like this title and we're going to come up with a new name for it. We need a new title for this bullshit. Something that's not XP, but like we'll figure it out. No, so the idea here, okay, so I'm making a statement. Matt Adrick said, epilogue should be based on XP spent so players don't hoard it. I want them to hoard it, okay? Here's my statement, and Keeters, we're coming up on what this is about. If you do not spend your XP, holy fuck, okay, if you don't spend your XP, that means you are doing what the fates want you to do. You are giving into the dice. You are not getting in the way of fate. You are playing into it. Ergo, you have more experience to spend on your story at the end because the game is saying the correct thing to do if you want a prosperous end to your life is to do what you were fated to do. Game design. That's totally what it is. Because if you live a life of suffering and failure and never try to use your experience to make your life better in the moment, you will have more to bank. So at the end of the game, if you survive, you will get to tell a better story about your character. God, it's totally Dharma. Fucking awesome. That's so cool. This is like my favorite part of the whole design so far. Yeah, the term for like acting in accordance with fate. But I think Dharma is a good stand-in now. Daruma. All right, and then the Soul's Reflection. Right, end of campaign. So reflect. Oh my god, we could just make it you play 5 sessions. We could just force that. We could just say you have to play 5 sessions. And at the end of the 5th session, your story is done. Pacing, etc. The game only has 5 sessions. At the end, your story is over. Oh, that's cool. That's fucking cool. Oh my god, so we could tie this, and again, we'll have to playtest all this shit, but we could totally tie this into seasons. Right? Each session is a season. So you play the water session, the fire session, the air session, the earth session, the void session, and you're done. And at the end of the void session, you reflect on your soul's journey, and we talk about what happened to our characters. Fucking awesome. I think that's a really cool idea, and it ties right back to what we were talking about at the beginning. Yeah. Fuck, cool. Okay, so marking Dharma. So we want to reward people for doing what they are fated to do. So when you illustrate your sign at the end of a session, I guess we can call them seasons, basically. At the end of a session, mark XP. So this, we gotta work on how much this is, because I think it'd be like 1 and 2 or 1 and 3. And we could talk about like the bank is tiered. Right? Like each 5 you like, okay, so we'll have to figure out how many you earn per session, etc. Yeah. How much do we earn? What are the tiers? How do we balance control in the moment versus a good quote unquote ending? And so what we're going to do here is I want to design this whole system, and then I want to create rules for the Mara to break it. Do you want to play more than 5 sessions? The Mara can help you. Do you want to change how Dharma works? The Mara can help you. Do you want an alternate XP model? The Mara can help you, right? If you want to If you want to keep playing, if you want to break the rules, the Mara will help you break the rules of the game. And that's theme, right? That's the theme of the game expressing itself in the mechanics. Okay, so let's make a note here. Create subset of the rules. So okay, here the initial core rules have to feel restrictive and forced. You have to play by rules that might not feel fair or okay, but we'll create some alternate rules, the Mara set, that allow you to play longer, change the XP triggers, forego the tarot, etc. Fuck the police. Okay, cool. I like it. So, let's see what currently you mark Dharma for. When you illustrate your sign, the end of a session, mark XP. When you illustrate the patterns of your kin or culture, mark XP. Or when you were like restricted by your kin or culture. Like the idea here is, I guess, is mark Dharma. Mark Dharma, attorney at law. When you obey the precepts of your tarot, what do we call these bonds? Tarot connections? I think tarot bonds. Your tarot bonds. Mark Dharma for each obeyance. Okay. Are there other things we've said here? I think it's these three. Because what are the right principles? If we imagine the society in which the game's rules, which is to say the rules of reincarnation, the rules of being a good person in the Court of Swords, if we imagine those civilizations, what do they want you to do? They want you to play into your stereotypes, right? Be your sign. They want you to be a dwarf. They want you to be a gnome. They want you to be a human. Be your culture or kin. Show us in what ways you are from that place and of those people. And then they want you to listen to your fate, right? Obey the precepts of your tarot bonds. So theoretically, if you're playing in a group of 4, which I think we're going to have to say you have to, right? Have to. The game must be played in 5 sessions by a group of 4 players and a GM. That's the fucking rule. Okay, just a thing that you have to do. I'm gonna say lots of stuff in here that's like you have to do this, and then the Mara will let you cheat. Yes, the DM is the void around which the elements move. Okay, so let's see. You could theoretically get Dharma to reroll. Okay. I don't want to call it bank. I want to call it commit. We'll work that out later. Oh yeah, and then something about like when you illustrate the desires and drives of your class, mark Dharma. Because the universe wants you to be what you were born to be. It wants to see your sign, it wants to see your class, it wants to see when you illustrate these things. Cool. Ooh, that's a good one. 5 Dharma to draw a new tarot with someone. 10 Dharma or whatever. Like, Here, we'll do this. X plus Y, X plus Z. Like some amount, right? X plus Z plus whatever. Like the idea here is there's, I guess these are all just X's, but these are increasing numbers, but X Dharma to choose a new tarot with someone. There you go. And you can do these anytime. Like fuck fate, right? Spending your Dharma means you focus on the now, you live in the moment and don't think about your karma. You are accumulating karma by doing this. Fucking stoked. Yeah, so we'll figure out. No, so the total number here would be 1, 2, 3. One for each of those. This is per session. I guess I should clarify that. At the end of the session, season's end, sign, class, kin or culture, and then tarot. If you do it once with each person, that means you get another 3. So it's 7 possible each session. The more you play to your fate, the next season, the more you have, the more Dharma you have to spend, or the more you can bank. So theoretically, in 5 sessions, you get 35 total. So 35 is the best possible life, right? Enlightenment is 35, right? Like costs or tiers. Max possible is 35 Dharma. Perfect enlightenment. Okay. Something like that. And we'll figure out the rest. God damn. That's really cool. Fuck yeah. That's good. I like it. Yeah, you become the Buddha. Yeah, kin or culture is supposed to be one. One together. One or the other. Yeah. Cool. Okay. No, if you get perfect enlightenment, you become one with the fountain and you evaporate into the universe. Yeah, you get to describe that you die. Doesn't the power gamer just spend Dharma whenever they want? Yes. So if you blow all your Dharma, you will end up winning the story. But, oh yeah, that's 6 total. Yeah, right. So 6 times 5, that's 30. That's a better number. So yeah, you could offer your Dharma for some of the magic stuff. Totally. It's a thing that a character is loosely aware of. But the idea is if you end the game with no Dharma whatsoever, you probably get shoved back in the karmic order, right? You don't get to narrate yourself. You lose the war. You lose the war for your own enlightenment. You've won every battle. You have lived an earthly life. The narrative, oh my God, this is so stupid. The narrative is Earth, and the story at the end, this is me taking a stance against people who describe narrative as story. The story at the end, your soul's reflection, you can win or lose depending on how much you focused on the narrative in the moment by buying successful roles. Fucking awesome. That's cool. I like it. So the idea here is like, do you win the war or the battle? Do you seek enlightenment by letting the world do what it will and trusting fate? Or do you reject fate and take the worldly path? Cool. Caring about the world means you accumulate karma. Fucking awesome. Okay. I like it. So I think I want to pin it there. I want to let it percolate a little bit. I don't want to push ahead, but I think we're doing a really fucking good job. I think this is super cool. I'm more excited about it every time we work on it. And that's a good sign. So I think we're gonna put a pin in it here, and we will come back to this later. Damn. Thank you so much for hanging out and for your help and for just being here for me to get all freaking hype at. As usual, if you have thoughts on the design or some insights into any of the stuff that I've been working on, I would love to hear it. Tweet at me, hit me up through my contact form, or hit me up on Discord, or in the comments, either on Twitch or on YouTube. I will keep an eye on all of this stuff. The eventual plan is to publish a playtest version of this in the RollPlay Patreon zine, and then sometime later for everybody to playtest, and then ultimately I will probably publish the finished product in the zine, and also maybe sell it on drive-thru or something. We'll figure it out. Or maybe I'll just give it away. I don't give a fuck. We'll figure it out. Cool. Okay. That's it for today. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. We will schedule more of this soon. I want to put in some more time next week. So maybe Friday. Maybe we'll do it again on Friday. Keep an eye on the schedule. We'll bring it back. Thanks for coming, everybody. See you later.